Okay, this is for SGD 212. I'm redoing the what was it? The UI prototype um, project we worked on in class because my computer completely crashed on me and I lost all my work. So here we go. We're going to do this as quickly as possible, and hopefully that will be good. All right. So we're going to create first 4 panels, right? We're going to create a panel here, all right? That shows up. We go to 2D real quick, right? There we go. That's our panel, right? Oh, I'll do that. All right, so this panel is going to be our, let's see, start. We'll call it menu panel, right? And we're going to put a text on here just to let everybody know what that is, right? First off, we're gonna change the opacity, right, of this by that changing the alpha value all the way up to 255, right? We'll change the color of it as well, right? Something like that, maybe. All right. And we're going to put a text on it so that we know exactly which panel it is, right? So game object UI text. Then take that text and make it a child of the menu panel, just like that. And on the text, we're going to go over here and we're going to say menu. We change the text color to a bright green. I'm going to anchor it at the top, middle, center. I'm going to overflow, and then I'm going to 56. Right? I might do that there. All right. Once I have that, right, then that's my basic panel. I'm going to just duplicate that 3 times, right? And then I'm going to call the next panel InGame Panel, right? Then this one is going to be pause, and this will be options. All right, so you have these 4 panels. That's good. Let's go in here and change the text. All right, so we're going to, first off, I'm going to just turn them all off by selecting them all like that. That way I can turn on one at a time and do what I need to do, right? So in-game panel, you change the text to in-game, right? And then we'll turn that off. Pause panel, turn that on. Change the text here real quick. Text. Excuse me. All right. Options, turn it on. Open up. Change that. All right. Now I'll turn them all back on. I think I just turned the text off or something. Yes, I did. All right. Note that the options panel is the one that you see because it is on the bottom, which means it's on the top in Unity terms, right? All right. What we're going to do is we're going to create code that turns them on and off as we need them, right? Okay. Now we need some buttons on here because as we found out let's create a game manager real quick. Game manager object. Actually, I still have the code from when my computer crashed. because apparently that's saved, so that's good. So I'm going to put the game manager on there. I'm going to hook up all my objects. Menu, option, pause, and in-game. All right. So there's all my panels hooked up. All right. So let's go back to, let's turn them, select them all, turn them all off. Then we're going to go to menu panel because this is going to be our start panel, right? This is where we're going to land. All right. So let's create a start button. And we'll say time warp. I don't remember. Time jump. That's right. And let's go here. All right. Game object UI button. Put that button as a child there. All right. And we're going to go over here and we're going to anchor it right to the center, like that. And then we're going to change the text of the button to start. All right. All right. And we'll switch to our code here, and you'll see I've already set up all this stuff here, right? We need a function that controls that listens for the button click. So public void handle button click. And I'm going to try to pass a game state. I don't know if it's going to let me do that, but we're going to see. All right, new game state. Debug.log button clicked. All right. I just want to see if it's going to let me do that. So let's see. So the button there. I'm going to add an action over here on the button. I'm going to go to Game Manager, which is in the scene. We're going to go to the script, Game Manager, handle, and it's not going to let me do it. All right, because I'm sending it the game state, it's not going to let me do that. All right, so that's less than awesome. Unfortunately, it won't let me do that. All right, so we'll have to send it a string. Yep. Send it a string that represents the game state, right? So now that should show up. So we'll see. Yep. That's unfortunate. I was hoping it would allow me to send a game state, but it's not going to. So we'll have to send a string that represents that, right? So you'll have to know what strings you're sending, right? So we're going to send it these strings here since those are our game states, right? And I'll actually paste that in there. So now we'll have to set up a switch inside of this handle button click to change our game state, right? So what we'll do here is we're going to say switch new game state. Oh man. New game state. And I'll just retype all this. All right, so case. Now I can just copy these here, right? And do that. And I'll just, from now, I want to see. I always set up the basic format first and then come back and, God, if I could type. All right. I just find it easier to do it this way. All right. See, these are errors because I'm defining the same case each time. But now I can double click on that. Yep. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. All right. Now what I'm going to do is call this function dependent on my button click, right? So case playing, right? Let's say change game state, right? And I'm going to copy that line because this is going to be the same line I use for each one of these. Right? All right. Is that going to do everything I need to do? Probably not. I'm probably missing something, but we'll see. All right. So, all right. So on the start button here, we can now say in this box. So this start button, the start is going to take us to playing, right? So we're going to say playing. All right. And let's just see if that does what we needed to do. Okay. First off, let's hope it takes us to the menu to start with because it wasn't yesterday. What is that? Oh, this is the scene. All right. No, whatever. All right. All right, so it is in the menu. That's good. And we'll see the current game state is menu. We start. It goes to playing. That's good. All right, so that's the first step, right? So now in the game, we have to put, in game, we need a pause button, right? In the menu, we need options. What else we need? Well, that's basically it, right? So maybe in, stop game, in the pause menu or go to menu. Yeah. All right. So menu panels starts fine. Oh, options button. Yes. So game object, UI, button. We'll put it here. Whoops. Yeah. We'll call this options button, right? And put options there, right? And that will be what? No. We'll just drag that down a little bit. Why is it doing that? Okay, I'm back. It wasn't allowing me to move the options button. I looked up something that said if you collapse this canvas renderer over here, that it would allow you to move it, and it appeared to work. So I don't know what. It's been submitted as a bug apparently, so maybe if you're using a more recent version of this Unity, then maybe it'll work. All right, so anyway, I've got it to work. That is frustrating. Anyway, here we go. So options button, we need to set up an event for it. So again, it's going to be game manager, handle button click, and we'll go over here, and that will be options. Just paste that there, right? So let's see if that works. We'll just test one at a time. We'll test them. All right, so options. There we go. All right, good. So both of our menu panel now works, right? So now we can go to work on another panel. So we'll go to in-game real quick, right? So let's turn off menu, the in-game, turn it on. We need a pause button, right? Generally, you're going to use the pause symbol for a pause button, but I don't have one downloaded right this second, so I'm going to go to button, and we put a P there for pause. Generally, this is going to be in the corner somewhere, so I'm going to put it at the bottom right, anchor it down there. I'm also going to change the shape of it, so let's go here, right, and I'm going to change it to roughly a square, right, and we'll call it. Let's put it first in game, right? And let's call it the pause button, right? And open it up, change the text. I'm just going to change the text to a P for now, right? It's for pause. Pretty obvious, but it should be the 2 lines for a pause, but I don't have those right now. But so let's do that. So in the pause button, right, it will take us to the pause state. So we'll go here, add game manager. Should all be familiar by now, right? And I'm going to go to the pause, right? Pause state there, right? And we can test that real quick. There we go. Awesome. So in game, that's all we need right now, I think. Right. So now we can do that. Go to the pause panel. The pause panel should allow you to do several things, right? Should allow you to return the game. It should allow you to go to the menu, thereby ending the game. And should be able to go to the options as well, right? All right, so pause panel. We're just going to start by returning to the game for now, right? Because some of we're just going to do that because it's simpler. All right, so put that button on the pause panel. Always make sure you put your buttons on the right panels. That way everything works out right. All right, so return button. All right, return the game, and go to the button. start, pause, return, pause, return, right? We should probably put the options button in there in the pause panel as well. It makes sense, right? So I'm just going to duplicate the return button. Call it options, right? Focus on that. I'll put it above here, right there. There. All right, go to the button, option. That's fine. It's already there. Manager. Actually, all we got to change is this, right? There we go. That's it. Start. Options. All right. So the options, we should have a variety of options here. Right now, we're just going to have a back button so we can get back to where we need to be, right? So let's do that. So we're almost there, right? So options panel, let's first take the pause panel, hide it, go to the options panel, show it. The back button will just take us back to this is where it can get tricky, right? If you can get the options from the pause, from the start menu, you have to register where you're coming from, right? So right now we're going to assume we're only going to go to the options from the pause menu. All right, so we'll worry about the other later. A little more complex than I wanted to get into right now. All right, so options panel, button. Call it a back button. All right, so the back button, we'll just go back to paused for now. I'll make this more sophisticated later. Right now, this is what we're going to do. All right, so that should get us basically where we need to go. All right. Start, pause, return to game, pause, options, back, return to game, pause. Let's have an end, stop game, right? Back to menu, main menu, right? So in the InGame panel, first off, let's turn this off. And InGame, we're going to turn that on. No, pause, sorry, pause menu. Pause panel. Create one more UI button. Pull it down. All right. All right. And then that will be Game Manager. Menu. What I do? All right, yeah, all right. I didn't put the button on the panel like I told you to do, so that's why it's all screwed up. There we go. Now, start, pause, main menu, start, pause, options, back, turn the game. All right. So once you have this in place, you can make it look like, try to make it look like the mock-up you created. So at this point, you're playing with the graphic design. It should be working now, right? So what I will do is I'm going to put this, I'm going to try to put this whole project up in our folder, and that way you'll be able to use this as your starting point, right? All right. So I'm going to do that now, and we'll see you soon.